Welcome back to Worth Coin, your #1 channel for rare coin discoveries, historical values, and hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into the story and current market value of the 1974 United States 1-cent coin, the iconic Lincoln penny. While millions of these pennies were minted and circulated across America, some rare variants and conditions can make these coins surprisingly valuable to collectors today. The 1974 Lincoln cent is part of a long and fascinating coin series that began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln facing right on the obverse side. This was the first U.S. coin to feature the likeness of a real person, and it marked a major departure from the classical Liberty designs that had dominated earlier coinage. The reverse side of the 1974 penny features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., which replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959 of the coin's 50th anniversary. The words "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" arch above the Lincoln Memorial, while the denomination 1 cent is boldly displayed below. If you look closely at the memorial with a magnifying glass, you can actually see the tiny, seated figure of Lincoln in between the columns, an incredible detail that demonstrates the craftsmanship involved in U.S. coinage. Now, let us talk mintage and composition. The 1974 penny was struck in huge numbers. There were over 4.2 billion coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, over 4.2 billion struck at the Denver Mint with a D mint mark, and approximately 201 million at the San Francisco Mint with the S mint mark, though these San Francisco coins were intended primarily for proof sets. The standard composition of all these coins was 95% copper and 5% zinc, a copper alloy that had been used for decades in penny production. However, 1974 is a special year in penny history because of a bold experimental change. Due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint began testing the idea of producing pennies using aluminum instead of copper. In 1973 and 1974, the Mint struck more than 1.5 million aluminum pennies as test coins. These aluminum cents were never released into circulation, and almost all were recalled and destroyed. But a handful escaped destruction. And today, these ultra-rare 1974 aluminum cents are worth a fortune. In fact, just owning one of these coins could spark legal controversy, as the U.S. Mint still considers them property of the government. Now, let's turn to values. For the standard copper 1974 penny, the value in circulated condition is typically 1 cent. These coins are extremely common, and most are still found in pocket change. However, uncirculated examples, especially those graded Ms. 65 or higher, can fetch between $5 and $25 depending on the quality, color, and strike. The 1974D Lincoln penny from the Denver Mint also shares a similar price range. In circulated condition, its value is still 1 cent, but in pristine mint state condition, the price can rise to about $10 to $50 or even more for red-toned coins with perfect luster and no marks. Some of the finest examples, graded Ms. 67 red, have been auctioned off for over $1,000. The 1974S Lincoln penny, meant for proof sets, can be more valuable. These proof coins were specially struck with polished dies and mirrored fields. A typical proof 1974S penny in PR65 condition can be worth $1 to $5. Ultra cameo versions, those with frosted design elements and deep mirror fields, can sell for $20 to $50. If graded PR69 deep cameo by a reputable grading service like PCGs or NGC, the value can soar to over $100 depending on demand and appearance. Aside from the aluminum experimental version, there's also one rare variety known as the 1974 double die penny. These are coins that were struck from dies that had a slight shift between impressions, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the lettering or date. Collectors highly prize these error coins. A true 1974 double die obverse penny can fetch anywhere from $100 to several $100s depending on the degree of doubling and the condition of the coin. Collectors also look for off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and other minting errors on the 1974 penny. These error coins can add extra value. For example, a 1974 penny that was struck 50% off-center can be worth $50 or more. A coin with a die break or cud could sell for $25 to $100 based on eye appeal. Let's not forget about color. Lincoln cents are graded not only on their condition, but also their color brown, red-brown, or red. Red coins RD have retained their original luster and are the most valuable, followed by red-brown RB, and then brown BN, which have darkened due to oxidation. A red 1974 Lincoln penny in Ms. 67 can command a strong premium at auction, whereas a brown one in the same grade might be worth significantly less. Now, if you're a collector or just a curious person who stumbled upon a shiny 1974 penny in your change, what should you look for? First, check the mint mark. If it's a 1974D or 1974S, it's worth separating from common change. Then, check the condition. If your coin has full details, no scratches, and a glossy red shine, it might be worth grading professionally. Finally, look carefully for doubling, off-center strikes, or other unusual traits. Even a small error could mean a big payday. To summarize, while the majority of 1970 for Lincoln cents are only worth face value, pristine examples, rare errors, and especially the legendary aluminum test strikes can be extremely valuable. A standard 1974 Lincoln penny might not make you rich overnight, but with careful eyes and a bit of knowledge, even common coins can become hidden treasures. And if you happen to find one of the few 1974 aluminum cents, well, let's just say you might want to call a lawyer and a coin expert. Thanks for watching Worth Coin, where every penny counts, and history lives in your pocket. Be sure to like this video. If you learned something new today, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and ring the bell so you never miss our next treasure hunt. Until next time, keep your eyes on your change. Your next rare coin discovery might be hiding in plain sight.